I did my placement in Glasgow at a multinational bank over there, and yeah, it was a very interesting experience, a fun experience. At the start of the year, I was tasked with doing certain things, learning web development and building an experimental app at the start, and I was working independently. And you know, that was something that was quite challenging at first, but at the same time I was able to learn so much about different technologies, about how things are in industry. And as time came along, my manager found I was struggling a bit with this project, so he took the initiative to pair me up with somebody else in our team. We have a really great team of senior and junior developers, and I was working with someone, and over the course of the year I was tasked with taking an application which they use day to day and actually taking it from being a desktop application and upgrading it for the web. And that was something at the start of the year I couldn't have imagined I'd be able to do, but with the help of my team, with the help of people around me, you know, I really was able to achieve that. And by the end, you know, we were getting ready to deploy that app into production. So when I applied to university initially, none of the courses I applied to had a placement year with them. And so when I applied to Liverpool Hope through clearing, it was actually just an added bonus that, okay, they've got a placement year, because I find, you know, a lot of these companies, when you're going to get hired after graduation, they're asking, oh, what experience do you have? And I was like, you know, maybe it's best to actually get some experience whilst I'm at university, and then take that with me and possibly, you know, have more opportunities that way. I applied to about 4 or 5 placements, and the process wasn't easy, quite rigorous, having to do some assessment centers, you know, making sure at the start my CV had outlined a lot of, you know, my skills and experiences that I'd had. Some of the places I applied to, I still haven't heard back from till this day. I find that in the process of, you know, applying to these different things, it actually builds your confidence. It allows you to see what employers are looking for and how, you know, they approach the whole recruitment process. So for assessment centers, well, most of the companies had 2 stages. So there'd be, you know, well, after the CV and they've looked at your CV, a lot of them have a gamified experience where, you know, you play games and they try to learn about who you are, what your values are, how you think, how you might work. And from that, you know, they're able to see if you'd fit with maybe the company and the culture of the company and various things like that. And then the second stage, because it was during the pandemic, was Zoom online interviews. And I did several of those, and because it's computer science, they'd do the normal situational based questions of, you know, tell me of a time where, you know, you took on feedback, how did you respond to that, and things like that. And then there'd be more technical questions later on. And what I found in the interview process is that interviewers aren't looking to trip you up. If you've gotten to the stage where you're face to face with an interviewer, they've already seen the potential in you, and they just want to give you the platform to showcase that you have the knowledge, that you have the understanding to be able to work in the work environment. So the best thing was finding out I actually enjoy doing what I'm looking to pursue as a career. I think that's another great reason to do a placement year, because you're able to find out the things you do like, the things you don't like, and actually narrow your focus a bit more for when you do start going into the job market after university. So I found that I had a really great team around me. I found, you know, the company had a lot of socials and a lot of, you know, different resource groups where you could get together around technologies or other areas of interest. And yeah, that's really great. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, met up with my manager and some of my colleagues at an event, and you know, it's really great to have that community aspect as well. while I was working, I had to move to Glasgow, and my work paid me really well to be able to do that, to be able to, relocate. And yeah, I found, I was able to build a community in the area I was living in, and that's something that's really helpful when you're moving to a new city. I think initially it was getting my head around especially working in the financial sector. It was really difficult. One of the most challenging things was getting my head around all of the jargon and terminology that companies use. But by the end of the placement, I was using it myself, and you'd often get people who were new coming in and saying, "Hey, could you explain this thing to me?" And I could remember a year earlier having no clue. So next for me, I'm going to be going back to the company I was working for. One of the things that they said is if you did well on the placement, they'd offer you a full-time role. So I'm going to be doing a 2-year graduate program, and technically, because I've done 1 year already, I'm able to go from one level, so a analyst, to an associate in 1 year rather than the 2 years that others would coming out of uni. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Looking forward to working on new technologies. Living in Glasgow, as I said, I was able to build a community there. So coming back to uni, I was telling them, hey, I'll be back in a year, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them all again. A lot of people are very hung up on, will companies like my CV, or do I have the experience to be able to, get into that kind of industry? But at the end of the day, these companies are looking for young talent who they're going to train from the ground up. So you don't need to know everything. I didn't know everything. Most of what I knew at the end of my placement, I didn't know at the start. And I think there's so much, especially at Liverpool Hope, there's so much resource, and we have the careers team who are really pushing out all of the different opportunities that they find. And also offer support with, writing up your CVs and, doing various stuff like that. So yeah, just get started. Don't wait.